Microphone. Keep
Louder?
Yeah.
Welcome to the Kentucky Hemp Expo. We're going to be speaking about the therapeutic benefits of CBD and hemp. My name is Dr. John O'Connor. We are out of Jonesville, Virginia. Just a little history on what we do. We run hemp marijuana. We have a #1 selling Amazon book, and we won an award with the 2019 Medical Marijuana Awards based on our book and our results. So, the FDA chairman and commissioner yesterday in one of his speeches turned around and said that CBD is a miracle medicine, that it helps and it has saved lives of children who are experiencing epilepsy and have seizures. He also turned around and said that it is something that they cannot ban at all because there's so many people taking it. This is actually a miraculous conversation from him, because before this he called it an evil drug that should be banned and nobody should be taking it, and it's illegal because he was backed up with what we thought by pharmaceutical companies that didn't want it out there. So this complete 360 change is phenomenal for the whole industry because it opens up the market for CBD for everybody that has been taking it and for those people who are too afraid to take it because they thought it was illegal. CBD can remedy some of the greatest chronic illnesses. Depression, anxiety, inflammation, Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease. We have experience in speaking with people from all over the country at all the events that we speak at, telling us their stories and their miraculous stories on how CBD has changed their lives and actually saved their lives. 2019 was a banner year for CBD art, but at the same time, it was a complete disaster for the hemp fields. From what we have seen in the places we have been through, 75% of the hemp grown in 2019 was actually a terrible, terrible crop. Most people's farms did not make money. Most of the stuff could be still sitting in the field or sitting in a barn rotting. Because if it did grow, they couldn't sell it. When it didn't grow, no one would buy it. The CBD industry was at $1 billion in sales over the last year. They're estimating that to triple in the coming years. We were at the Dallas Hemp Expo. We spoke with both the Dallas Stars team and the Toronto Maple Leafs that were there and tried to get interviews for a documentary we're shooting called Everything CBD about the athletes and their use of CBD and how it's helping them perform better. Well, lo and behold, the marketing manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs told me that if any of the athletes at all ever spoke about taking CBD, they would be let go from the team. That for some reason, all the teams in the NHL still find it an illegal drug and refuse to let anybody acknowledge the use at all of this substance. And they didn't really seem to either understand or care that it's a natural substance and it is a legal substance. This was put in before they made a statement yesterday that the FDA continuously denies thousands of genuine studies from universities, the World Health Organization that prove the medicinal properties of CBD, and the FDA claims it's dangerous in its research. Well, they took a step to the side and said that it's a miracle and it's helped a lot of people, that there are thousands of people taking it, and that they can't ban it. They still have a long way to go before they make it legal for everybody to use. But at the same time, they didn't give 100% go-ahead for the CBD in the whole industry. So we have to wait and see what they're going to say, or what they're going to do and actively do about it. The World Anti-Doping Agency announced approval for the use of CBD oil, spray, tinctures, and cream for all athletes, including for the Summer Olympics coming up. That was an unbelievable realization that they eliminated CBD from their banned substance. You would think that after they did it, because they're the #1 organization who handles all the doping across the board for most athletes, that these organizations would then follow suit and eliminating it from their list of things. That hasn't happened yet. All right. Everyone has natural CBD in their body. We produce natural CBD through the endocannabinoid system. Most people know about the endocannabinoid system. Our bodies have natural CBD receptors. CBD1 has to do with memory receptors and motor regulation. CBD2 is immune system, bone marrow, and it creates an anti-inflammatory effect. The ECS body system plays an important role in appetite, mood, memory, and pain sensation, which most people go through a range of those on a daily basis. Therapeutic potential of CBD and ECS. I have hundreds of people with anxiety and have all forms of anxiety issues, sleep disorders, hunger control, multiple sclerosis, migraines, autism, general pain and aches, PTSD, opiate and alcohol addiction that have been using and taking CBD, the full spectrum, over a broad period and actually feeling better and healing. Now, this Epidiolex, the pharmaceutical knockoff, in every patient that I read it was given to came back with severe liver damage and has been hospitalized, and their liver has not or is not responding to treatment. It's a fake product created in a lab that they're claiming is pure CBD. That's what we're up against, because everybody reads about this product and think, oh my God, CBD is going to kill me, it's going to burn my liver, it's going to do all these things, because the news agencies are taking this as if it's pure and not telling the truth to the rest of the population. Research. CBD can calm the brain and support the hippocampus, which is the brain area most important for healthy emotion and emotional status in memory and regulation. CBD has a positive interaction with serotonin receptors in the brain, benefiting the feeling of well-being and happiness. Serotonin is our main receptor that pretty much handles everything that goes on in our body. When you're feeling anything at all, it has to do with high levels, low levels of the serotonin within your body. The CBD actually enhances that and helps calm it down so that you don't feel these negative effects of things going on inside of you. All right, I'm a psychologist by trade. I have 2 PhDs. I have a thriving practice, clinical practice. It's a funny story. Several of my clients, after taking CBD, would come in and say they have a very strange sensation, they're feeling really weird. And they didn't understand what the feelings were after, a half an hour speaking with them of what's going on and what they took and what was going on beforehand. We found out the actuality was they were feeling normal. It's just they have never felt this before in their lives before, because they're so stressed, they have so much anxiety, they had so many side effects from the other meds that they were given and taking that they really had no understanding of what normal was. So when they were sitting there and they didn't feel anxiety, they didn't feel like getting up and running, they didn't feel like somebody was chasing them down the road, they didn't know what was going on. It literally calmed all the side effects from what they were going through, from multiple diagnoses. It really helps to control and counter all the side effects that most of these pharmaceutical mental health drugs create. Well, we consider it to be a miracle for the future. One thing they did find was CBDP and THCP, which were recently discovered as a precursor, which I believe, that is 30 times more powerful than CBD and THC itself. They still don't truly understand where and what the CBDP does, or how it affects it, or where it fits in the whole genetic structure of it, but they're slowly learning as they do more testing in it, and there's still probably hundreds more of these items and cannabinoids that have not been found yet, or at least precursors. It can be used for a mental health tool. Now, I say this to everybody. You can take CBD, it's going to help calm you down, it's going to stop your anxiety, it's going to stop your stomach pain, it's going to stop your headaches. It will not fix your life. Those emotional things you have grown up with, whether from family, from relationships, it won't heal them. You still need to do the work. You still need to go in and work through those issues and the baggage you have. This is going to give you a tool that's going to make it easier for you to sit down with somebody like myself, and say, this is what I'm going through. This is what my life was like. How do I fix this? Because you're going to do it with a calmer mind. You're not going to have 10,000 things running behind your head. And you're not going to have all the worry or the anxiety that's built up from all these years of things that have happened to you. So it will help you. It will help you have a better day. But it's not going to take all that baggage and all that trauma and all the emotionalness that you have been through and eliminate. You still need to do the work, one way or the other, in order to solve your whole body problem. Okay. Effectiveness with medical conditions. Epilepsy, chronic pain, arthritis, Parkinson's disease, inflammation, multiple sclerosis, and tumors have all been shown to be reduced, if not completely flatlined, using a broad spectrum CBD over a long period of time. I've had patients come to me that their loved ones were, in hospital, and they were giving them all these drugs, and it wasn't getting any better. They started a 3-month regimen of full spectrum, and all of a sudden, all these things started to slow down. Tumors shrunk to nothing. Epilepsy, the seizure stopped. Chronic pain, many of us live with chronic pain, whether it's a car accident, whether it's a fall, whether you've been hit in the head with a bat, it's still chronic pain. We all experience some sort of chronic pain in one way or another. The CBD oil, depending on the doses you take, which depend on your body weight, okay, reduces that chronic pain over a long period, so you're not stuck walking with a cane, sitting in a wheelchair, or sitting in a car where everybody else goes in and does something because you can't walk, or your hip is killing you, or your back hurts, or your neck hurts. It actually helps reduce that pain to a point where you can function and have a better life.
Are we legally allowed to make those claims?
Excuse me?
Are we legally allowed, sorry,
Go ahead.
allowed to make those claims?
What claims? Well, I'm speaking from experience with my clients, with the thousands of people we have spoken to doing our Everything CBD documentary, and I'm telling you from real life experience what it is doing and who it is helping. So if the FDA says we don't believe any of this is research, and I have read 1,000 studies already, and I probably will read a bunch more, because Sean and I are writing a book on it, along with 3 other books that we're doing. If they don't understand it, or they don't want to understand it, there's nothing we can do to make them understand and do the right thing. The thing is that it does work and it is helping. And I'm giving you experiences that I have had, that my clients have had, that people have come and told us about. And it's real life things that are actually going on. This is not stories that I'm making up for any reason whatsoever. So whether they say we can claim it or not, doesn't really matter, because it's actually working and helping. So let them stop the voice of the world from telling them, hey, we need this. Because they just turned around and said that they can't, and they're not going to be ending. So they're kind of adding into our way, listening and saying, wow, it does help. Serotonin 1A receptor that controls anxiety and stress. The amyloid receptor T1, receptor for pain, sensation, and inflammation, all have CBD receptors and sensors that respond to the CBD, helping you control anxiety and stress, helping with pain sensation, and it has that inflammation effect where it will subside your swelling, whether you're swelling in your neck, or you're swelling in your back, or you have problems with your legs swelling. I have seen it help people with numerous issues. And this is without taking over-the-counter medical drugs. The applications for mental health really are in its infancy. PTSD, bipolar disorder, depression, addiction, anxiety, psychosis, panic disorder, all without the side effects that you get, the weight gain, the shuffling, the sweating, the nausea that comes with the over-the-counter medication that they give out to all these people. And you go to an MD, they're going to hand you these medications and say, here, take this. Well, you don't need to take that because you're going to gain 30 pounds of water. You're going to be sweating all over the place. You're going to be nervous all over the place. There's no reason for it. Those medications have so many side effects that the side effects outweigh the use of actually using it. 1 second, sir. Now, there was a study that was done on mice. I know everybody hates studies on mice because they have you related from mice to people. Well, they're still doing it, and it still seems to work. In this one study they did age-related, where they took older mice and they took younger mice. They had control studies. The older mice that they gave the CBD to, when they went through the mazes and they went through all the tests, they were as fast or faster than the younger mice. When at the end they dissected the brains of the older mice, they literally matched the younger mice's brains, because the CBD helped grow new growth in the brains and helped heal the brains and make it younger. Now, there has to be a lot more research into this. It was just one study that was done, but I think it's a positive thing that this stuff can actually, I'm not going to say it's going to make you young again, but it's going to make you healthier, make you feel better. And young people feel better than the rest of us, old of us. What you need to know about buying it. Okay. This is where the big problem comes in with CBD. You have to know where it comes from, okay? You have to buy from a reputable company. And you have to make sure you have the right labs. Federal, state regulators are not present to protect you from the fraudulent. Any gas station you go to, you're going to find CBD oil. Some of the news agencies went out and tested. I think there was one that tested like 741 vials. And it came back that out of the 741, 302 had nothing in it but oil. And I'm talking cooking oil. How many of you here are going to go home and take a shot of vegetable oil? No? Then why would you take a CBD tincture that has olive oil? MCT is organic.
Coconut.
Oh, organic coconut oil. My brain just had a fog. It all is cooking oil. Why are you taking this? Because when you put it and mix it with cooking oil, it encapsulates the CBD, which you then get less, and it does not disperse in your body correctly. Because you're not supposed to be drinking cooking oil or vegetable oil. We've had people in one store up by us that actually had it in vegetable oil. Another place sent us samples all the time. It was in olive oil. And it made me sick for 3 days. Because they put it in olive oil. I was drinking olive oil. There was no CBD left in it. It was, the whole vial was just, it was vial itself. It was ridiculous. There has to be a better way to do this, that they're not using these oils, because I spoke with, out of the thousands we speak to, 25 people said they literally got sick for like 3 days. Same thing that happened to me. They took it, it was like they were throwing up. They didn't understand what was going on. Their stomach went into a turn because what was inside those tinctures and bottles. All right. Sean and I decided to do this documentary called Everything CBD. It's from A to Z, from the beginning where the seeds start, all the way to the placement of CBD in the stores. With all the stories we've heard between Dallas, and we were at the Southern Hemp Expo, and here, and all the other facilities that we spoke at, people come and tell us their stories. And it's horrifying. And one of the biggest problems is the stigma. Everybody still thinks that hemp and CBD have to do with marijuana or pot. So, we're doing this documentary, it's a 2-hour documentary, that we want to show the truth to everybody about what this product is and how it helps. We actually have HBO negotiating with us to turn it into a full TV series. For us to go around to extraction places, to farms, to stores, and talk about how it's helping these people, what it is they're doing. And we're going to be calling out those places that are doing it illegally, or doing it wrong, or are not 100% ethical in what they're doing. Because we don't need more people creating problems, we need people standing up and doing the right thing. Just like the ladies had said earlier, you have to grow it right. So if you don't grow it right, you know, you're going to be causing problems down the line for everybody else that takes that stuff. The goal of Everything CBD is the end of stigma around CBD, so it can be enjoyed by more people. To tell the true stories about CBD and that people can relate to make the information on CBD oil much easier to access from mainstream through a documentary. All right. This is a woman we spoke to. She's from our area. Her husband has Parkinson's disease. She had said they tried to give her some CBD and he actually started responding a lot better to it. When she told her doctor that they were giving him some CBD, the doctor turned around and told her that if she continues to do that, he will no longer see her. We asked her to come on to our video and record it and tell her story. She told us she could not do that because she would be ostracized by her church. Stigma. Right now, it's the biggest thing we have to work through. There was another woman we met in Dallas, and she had some rare disease, and only 5 people had cancer in the world. They basically tattooed a death date on her forehead. She told me that she talked to one of her friends. They got her started on like a 6-month regimen of full spectrum CBD, and it's been a year and a half past her death date, and she's still alive. Because she stopped taking their meds and was taking this full spectrum, the pills, the drinks, the whole thing. And she said it did wonders for her, that it kept going. But again, I asked her to speak for me live in front of the camera, and she said she's too afraid of the stigma of everybody thinking that she's just a pothead. It's sad. Now, this one. Again, we did this interview in Dallas. There is a Chicago Bears NFL star that completely shattered his knee. He was told by all the doctors and all the orthopedists he'd never walk again, he'd be in a wheelchair, he'd never play again. After going to some of the other gentlemen who retired from the NFL, and they were all taking CBD, he started on full regimen of CBD. Within 90 days of taking it, he was actually out jogging with his dog. He is one of the biggest proponents and speakers of CBD at the moment, because he goes out there and tells everybody about his story. And I actually have his story, and I have it recorded. That's going to be part of our documentary. Our book. We wrote a book called Farming, Industrial, and Hemp, Not Your Daddy's Tobacco. Through this whole southern region, we're originally from New York, so we're living in Virginia. I understand that you guys had a great and long lineage of growing tobacco. But the problem with tobacco is everything you put on it goes into the ground. And it stays in the ground, right? Well, you come along and you throw hemp into this ground. Hemp is like a sponge. And it's going to go take everything out of the ground. They're actually using it in Chernobyl to get rid of all the nuclear energy out of the ground. So you put hemp into a tobacco farm, what you're going to get is poison hemp. You then give that to a processor or another place, and as these ladies have told you, you can't get that out by cooking it. You can't get it out by burning it. The chromatography that they have, I spoke with 3 of the top people in the world on this, they said the best you can do is 80%. All right? Who wants to take anything with 20% pesticides in it? Because you heard her say, it gets into your lungs, it's going to burn a hole in you. This is why we have to learn to grow it correctly. Why soil science is a big deal. Why you have to know what's in your soil and what it is you're growing and the strain you're growing and where it came from and what was there before. That's why testing is so important. So, our book made #1 on Amazon. We actually won an award for the 2019 Medical Marijuana Awards. They honored us with an award out of the UK for both the book and our consulting practice. We're very proud of everything that they've done. Somebody nominated us and we actually won. We love to speak on it. The book is a educational course about hemp, about CBD. Everything you need to know if you want to grow, if you want to take CBD, if you want to learn about the industry. We kind of wrote an insider secret book to the whole industry, and it's got 15 pages of scientific data backing it up. Because that's the type of work we do. We did a lot of research into it. So, with that, you know, this product can be, and probably in 20 years will be seen as the miracle of the century because of what it's doing to help people, because how it's helping people overcome things that regular pharmaceuticals and over-the-counter pills cannot do. We just have to take and help and maybe even hold their hands so that the government understands that and comes along with us on the ride. But, you know, once all this happens, it's going to be an open field day for everybody. We also run a racing team, that's why it's on the screen. So, with that, you know, we're open to questions, if you'd like. If not, I can pass it right on. And Sean is going to talk about total THC and why it should scare the hell out of you. Sure.
Something that's nano emulsions, you mentioned that vegetable oil is not.
Yep.
I heard companies using glycerin in their nano.
It's funny you should say that, because we actually use just CBD store stuff, and they use that glycerin product in there, and it doesn't have any oil taste, any oil residue, any oil artifact in it whatsoever. So that, to me, is a much better way of mixing it, whether you're doing it with crystal or you're mixing it, in other methods. That glycerin product that they're using actually works beautifully with it, because you don't get that horrible aftertaste or that oily taste, or it doesn't run through your stomach and cause other issues. There is a facility in Knoxville, Blue Hemp, and they were at the Southern Hemp Expo. They had given us a whole bunch of their pills and a whole bunch of their tinctures. This stuff was unbelievable. I don't think I've ever had anything about it. It was so pure, because they started from seed to processing all within the same company. They own the whole factory and situation and the farms to go with it, and they produce their own stuff. And I have to say, out of all the companies we've got stuff in from, their stuff was probably the most pure, the most beneficial I've ever seen anywhere. I'm not sure how they process it, but it has no oil taste whatsoever. What? Blue Hemp out of Knoxville, Tennessee. And I'm not going to say that. And actually, we have used it. All right, and we use just CBD store stuff and bread at that place. This stuff is phenomenal. It literally works. I mean, I take it every day, and I have no side effects, and I have no anything. Everybody asked me last time about dosage. We're finding that dosage has to do with your body weight. Depending on what your body weight is and how bad you are feeling that day will determine how many drops you have to put in. Whether you want to mix it with something, put it in chocolate milk, or just drink it straight, or put it in your juice, whatever it is you want to do. The amount you take in is going to be based on your body weight and your condition for that day. There are some days you may only need 10 drops, and maybe a day where you need 25 because you're highly stressed or something else is going on in your life. It's going to depend on you and how your day is going and your body makeup at that point. Yes? Unfortunately, I tried to contact the company and get their data and tried to get the study that they did on it, and they refused me. So they're claiming this word I just love, proprietary, that everybody uses. So they don't want anybody knowing how it's made or what they do. All I know is that 90% of the people that have taken it have severe liver damage. Yeah, I would agree with that. Mm-hmm.
Sesame came out in the 80s as well. It was proven to cause seizures and things like that because it was more equivalent like JWH or AU01 or one of those types of analogs.
Yes, I agree. It probably is. But they refuse to give me the data.
They won't present the data because they're protected under the patent.
I'm not going to run and steal and make the stuff. I don't have this lab in my closet. I just wanted, I had asked them and I told them that I just want to read it. Because we do speak, and I do speak on it, and I wanted to be more knowledgeable. They just told me no.
And even with an NDA, they wouldn't let you read it?
Nope. I try, but...
I think we can do that. I think there would be something that would require that drug to be researched more heavily by outside third parties.
It's supposed to be, but that's not always the case. A lot of this stuff is hidden, and you don't have access to it, and they put it away somewhere, and they send it to their legal department, or they send you to another department, and you pretty much just get shut down and told they're going to sue you if you continue, so that you leave them alone. So that's all I can tell you about the company, because they won't provide the documentation, so I have more information to put out.
But then if it's most likely an
I don't know.
And once that molecule is out there, and if they will prove it is molecularly identical to CBD, what would prevent pharmaceutical companies from lobbying legislation saying that only the pharmaceutical version of CBD identical molecule would be legal versus naturally occurring CBD?
They've been trying to do that. But the problem is I don't think Congress is buying into it.
Congress is not buying.
No, they're not buying into it because it's not natural. They're creating it somehow in their labs. And whatever process they're doing that's creating it is causing.
No, I'm saying that not currently like that. I'm saying once, because it's inevitable that something will develop identical to CBD molecule. That's an inevitability.
Okay.
You know, we're going to study it isolated and make it pharmaceutical. So when that happens, the CBD industry then can be shut down. They can say, for example, you know, now that we have a pharmaceutical controlled version of this, controlled version, are they then going to say, you know, the stuff that's out is kind of irregular? Is that why they need to be leaving it unregulated? So they got justification shut down?
I couldn't tell you. I'm not going to speculate on who's tied in with pharmaceuticals at this point. There's too much speculation out there about the FDA was, but then they just came out with a statement, and why they're doing it, I don't know. I don't think that anything they're going to make that's going to be a chemical-based one is going to ever have the same performance that the real stuff does. The organic is always going to outbeat the stuff they use in chemical, no matter what they put in their studies. Half the studies that you read, and being a research scientist, I read a lot of studies. And there's a huge amount of studies out there that are fake, and are fake. I don't think it'll ever replace it. They can try and replace it. Well, no, it's not widely prescribed because it was causing all these issues and problems. So they think they actually stopped prescribing it totally. Excuse me?
I've got a bottle of it in my pocket.
Oh, they still prescribe it?
Yeah. I'd like to try that.
Sir?
The company you're talking about, GW Pharmaceuticals, they also did make the CBD product. And if you look up Dr. Ethan Russo, he has published all his work on both those products. So Dr. Ethan Russo is who you're looking for when you do a Google Scholar.
Okay. I'll look into that. Thank you.
Same company did both of them.
Yeah, I know that. Okay. Well, with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Sean, and hopefully he doesn't scare you too much.